Okay, here we are in Dorylaeum, and this is sort of a general view of the battlefield. We've got right now this unit in the back. It's been firing, it's made its way over. It's already gotten Crusaders up to 15 flight points. Now they have to hit, what, 70 before they break. On the other hand, that should be one higher. The Seljuk, I have it 7, yeah. It's 7 currently. 6 of which are real points. For the Crusaders, 12 of them are real points. After these guys shot, the Sicilians mainly pulled back to reorganize again, but there was another charge here which knocked a unit back into the flag. We see that the infantry's cleared a hole, and we've actually going to be able to start rallying some units soon. We're in the middle of a charge. Infidel Dorylaeum has slid forward, and he's ready to launch a charge. And of course they get fire as they're coming in, but the knights are so potent that they can just say because this is not light cavalry, it's not the Seljuk stuff, it's not actually able to get away from the charging knights. The light cav, when we start seeing that, is going to be a lot more effective, but this is considered medium cav. It hasn't perfected how to cope with mounted heavier units. Alright, let's go on with the charge. And we're seeing one of Godfrey's knights is just sliced through and is going to be able to hit this guy with a second continuing attack. Now there's -2 for that. But this is one of the powers of the knights in this game, is they just continue going through. It's actually less than in the original Men of Iron. I think in that, if you got a continuing attack, you would just keep going and going and going. Here they've put some reduction on that, but along with a number of the other things, the knights are really, really potent in this. And the net effect of that, in addition to whatever we saw before, the good old leader A there has been killed, and he's worth 2 more flight points, I guess. I'm not really sure if it's only named leaders or something. Not really a big deal, I guess. Let's see what I get for victory. Only named leaders. So him being dead does not affect, because he's just leader A. And he's a little better, but since he's no one that important, I'm not going to make him valuable here. Continuation went over to a free activation for the Seljuks. Hard to tell what they should do. I mean, the one place they want to pull these guys out and try to reform them, but they're pretty much lost. These guys, they could reform, or they have them reformed. They could continue shooting up the disordered knights from Sicily. That's probably the best move at this point. It's an interesting scenario. I like the way that the raiding type tactics are turning out. I'm just not sure. We'll have to see if there's scenarios that reflect a really bad effect that happened in a number of battles, not this one, where the Saracens sort of built this reverse V formation and would put something kind of weak in the front of it, or maybe not that weak, but as they have advanced, it looked like a line coming forward. The Crusaders would hit it, the center would buckle, fall in, Crusaders would follow. And you really don't want to do this, but even when they knew about the tactic, they fell for it a number of times, and then the two wings would smash in and more times than not, when the Crusaders did do this impetuous charge into the center, they were just wiped out. This is actually how the King of Jerusalem fell just before the Third Crusade. Anyway, I'm hoping that there are scenarios that handle that. Unfortunately, I think it's going to have to be through special rules. There doesn't seem to be anything that forces that impetuous charge on the knights, which is a shame, because it was almost a fact of life in these battles, and whether or not that happened is what largely determined victory, especially when, you know, when the Muslims were able to predict it and cause it to happen. It was almost a sure thing. So the Saracens have largely swept the Sicilians completely away. They're no longer here, they're all disordered back here. It's kind of impressive. And now they're starting to pick on the Normans. You know, they're not killing things though, so I don't know how much effect it really has. Okay, so during the Crusader turn, first thing we had, Robert of Normandy came over and really hit the this wing pretty hard over here, and it's down to about 4 units, some of which are kind of badly beaten. Then, now Robert was killed in the attack, however, which may be kind of a bad trade-off. And then Geoffrey of Boulogne came through, and he wiped out that entire force that's back there, or that was back there. They're knocked back here mainly, but some have died. We see some deaths here. Points are now at 18 each for withdrawal points. It looks, I'd say, hopeless for the Seljuks, but you know, I mean, it's just a matter of, if they can come in, they can shoot up the cav, but it's got enough staying power. The Knights have enough staying power that even under questionable leadership, they can come through and smack whatever I detach to shoot at them. And I just don't see much chance of anything else. I haven't had to bring in these extra reinforcements. Caught myself actually cheating. I had forgotten that it costs the horse archers a point to leave, or to fire, and to leave an enemy cav zone of, or an enemy archer zone of control. I don't think they did that. Cav zone of control they're fine with, but the extra point for firing. So, I mean, if anything, I've been helping them out, not heavily, but it just looks really, really difficult to use these medium cav. They can't slip away the way the light cav will be able to. I think it's a little skewed in favor of the Crusaders here. I feel like what they initially had, 2 lines of cav, is more than what the Seljuks can really throw at them in any reasonable amount of time, given the way continuations work, etc. Before, you know, you start seeing a couple good commands come into play and really defend the flanks a little better. Well, I guess I was a little mistaken. I got to see the effect of these somewhat decent Seljuk cav, which just smashed in the ones with the -1. That's stronger, heavier armored units. They smashed in and pretty much wrecked Raymond's command. He's down to 3 knights. Everything else is retired over here. I don't think I have the points right. I'm going to have to check, just because so much happened. Then I got a continuation over here with the main ones, which aren't as effective, but boy did they just wipe away the Normans. Killed another leader, and just there's almost nothing left. Again, almost all here, there's a couple deaths that happened from where charges went bad or something. But now we're on the Crusader turn, and you know, because of the coloring, it's so hard to tell. But we got 3 Normans here, 1 here. The rest of this is all Seljuk, all the way over to here, and then with this Toulouse, Peter's forces, and then of course the camp. Remember, Godfrey's cleared out the rear area. That's been cleaned up, but you know, it's beginning to look like the Crusaders need some reinforcements on the board. And luckily they have some just waiting to come in. So here's where our flight points are. I haven't done anything since then. 26 for the Seljuks, 31 for the Crusaders. Of course, a lot of those are these one-pointers, but it's going to be harder to get them back at this point. And we do have a significant amount of death on the board, mostly Seljuk, but again, point-wise, probably about the same. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 points there. 3, 6, 18 there. Got 2 Crusader leaders gone. So, you know, it's about an equal game at this point. And we see the fighting Bishop Adhemar comes on with his forces. Historically, he saved the day. I don't know if he can do it here. And Godfrey swung around the back, but it's again on the Seljuk turn. Okay, now we see a Seljuk sweeping through. They just destroyed Raymond of Toulouse's force and started picking on Peter the Hermit's People's Crusade. Both leaders dead. Some more Crusaders gone. Up to a flight level of 42. I get a lot of units in the retired state. And I get to put these somewhere. I don't know where. His Peter will go. Jeez. Let's put him here. And then we get to roll for a continuation, which I'm going to take over here on Arslan. This does not work, so it'll be a Crusader turn. But, yeah, they're definitely brushing things aside. Their cav with a better defensive rating is so impressive that I'm not even sure I activated everything. I don't think these guys did anything. Oh well. It's so very powerful when it's thrown in. You know, the knight countercharges, if they're disordered, they end up actually rolling on the -1 table, and because they're disordered, they won't be charging, which, you know, can work out to the Seljuk's favor, as opposed to normally what I was seeing was they're attacking. The units are a +2 defense against shock combat, and you're looking at a +4 base on the charge table. Well, that's just going to wipe the unit out, basically. It's not going to be on the field after that, usually. Almost everything. Well, if it's normal, it's going to disorder, but once it's disordered, it's gone. If the Crusaders get another successful charge of disordered troops. Now, if it's a disordered unit from fire against the charge, it's +2 on the normal table, but still that's strongly in the knight's favor. And, you know, as opposed to the harrying fire we're seeing here, which is causing the knights to charge, but then meet defenses that are enough to break a disordered knight and usually send them back here, which seems to be sufficient. I mean, right now the Seljuks are just trying to clear the field of anything that can get in their way of harassing this stuff and this stuff. But we got more coming on. We got the bishop coming on, and I don't know what else. I'm probably going to start trying to recuperate units rather than, I don't know. It's so hard. I mean, bringing reinforcements on seems so much easier. But I don't really have room for more to get on the line. I've got a couple of good units left, so I think I'm going to try try fixing the problem that's down here. That'll reduce the flight points tremendously. Alright, this one's going up.